wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Happy Monday.
Peace, Morgan.
All right, let's get into it. First on the front page is unfortunate news, unfortunately. Former Utah Congresswoman Mia Love is dead at 49. Love is a daughter of Haitian immigrants. She made history in 2014 as the first Black Republican woman elected to Congress. She died at her home on Sunday following a battle with brain cancer. Her daughter recently announced that the treatment was not going well for her. So just prayers for those families, and condolences.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Switching gears, remember last week when President Trump signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education? Well, he's elaborating on what departments will pick up services following the closure. Now, speaking from the Oval Office, Trump said the Small Business Administration will handle those student loans, y'all. That Small Business Administration going to handle those loans. And the Health and Human Services will take care of special needs and nutritional programs. Now, Education Secretary Linda McMahon also weighed in, speaking to CNN State of the Union, saying federal funding will continue for essential education programs. Now, let's take a listen to those comments from President Trump and Education Secretary Linda McMahon.
I don't think it's even risky a little bit. I think it's going to be amazing.
The outward-facing programs that are going to be affecting students there's not going to be any defunding for those programs. And so we want to make sure that that funding continues in the departments where it needs to be, but at the same time, give states the opportunities to be innovative and creative with their teaching.
So this is a part of the Trump administration's larger goal of strengthening state control over education. Meanwhile, the SBA also recently announced it's cutting about 43% of its workforce to, quote, focus on ending social policy agendas of the prior administration, eliminating non-essential roles, and returning to pre-pandemic staffing levels. Here's a fun fact. 25% of the SBA workforce is Black. So, yeah. In other news, CTG. You've been calling for newer and fresher leadership in the Democratic Party. Well, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he says he's not stepping down, okay? And in fact, he's standing 10 toes in defending why he voted in favor of the Republican funding bill, or as he puts it, voting against a government shutdown. He made the comments on NBC's Meet the Press. Let's hear from Chuck Schumer.
Look, I'm not stepping down. And let me just say this, Kristen. I knew when I cast my vote against against the government shutdown that there'd be a lot of controversy. The CR was certainly bad, the continuing resolution, but a shutdown would be 15 or 20 times worse. Under a shutdown, the executive branch has sole power to determine what is, quote, essential.
Once again, if you keep telling me that a bill is terrible, you keep telling me that a bill was bad, but you signed it anyway without negotiating anything, to me, that's just not a good situation. That's just not a good deal. I understand Democrats don't have much power, but you can negotiate something. And if he did negotiate something, he needs to let people know. Or on the flip side, if he actually did like the bill, but he's just saying it's terrible to save face, with his base, that's whack too. I would rather him say, you know what, there's a lot of things in the bill I did like, and I voted for it.
He's saying the shutdown would have been way worse, 10 times worse.
Explain that to people then.
That's essentially what he said in the audio. So Schumer's vote, of course, like you mentioned, has drawn criticism from some of his own party who say Schumer should be opposing Trump's agenda at every turn. He went on to say the U.S. is in a constitutional crisis following the ongoing fight between Trump and the courts regarding deportation flights. So any extra thoughts on that before I get into the next story?
I don't think that you should, push back against the agenda just because you don't like a person.
But that's what it just seemed like that she just said. She just basically said anything that Trump does, you got to push up.
Well, that's what people feel like that because that's what they did to President Obama.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But I think that's
something
whack.
benefits the people. You got to go with benefits to people.
Exactly, because this is a bipartisan government. You have Republicans and Democrats, and you need Republicans and Democrats to get things done. So I don't agree with the logic of just pushing back because you don't agree, because you don't like a person or because you don't like a party.
Or because he's Republican.
But I'm still saying negotiate, bro. Like get something for yourself before you just lay down and say, I'm going to do it just because the alternative is worse.
Right.
Got you. So speaking of which, the deportation flights, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Supreme Court will get involved in the ongoing court battle over the Trump administration's deportation flights. Bondi told Fox News Sunday Morning Futures the federal judge who ordered the deportation flights is overstepping his authority. Let's hear more from Pam Bondi.
a federal judge trying to control our entire foreign policy, and he cannot do it. He's trying to ask us about national security information, which he is absolutely not entitled to.
She might raise a good point there. Now, Bondi accused the judge of trying to set back U.S. foreign policy and vowed that the Trump administration would continue to fight the judge's order in court. Of course, this battle stems from the Trump administration's decision to deport illegal immigrants. It claims that our gang members, even after a ruling by U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, blocked the deportations. And that's your front page news. Follow me on social at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank y'all. Make it a great week.
All right.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you, Morgan.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.